Moment of truth, my good friend. What should my beer be at before I'm ready to transfer it?
So you should have had it in the fridge cold crashing for the last sort of 2 to 3 days, preferably as close to 0 degrees as possible. So
0 degrees, we got cold liquid in here.
yeah,
Clarified already, hopefully.
yep.
Unless there's some sediment still hanging around, we can filter that during this process. We're not going to do that today, but the idea is that you have cold beer in here that is not carbonated, obviously.
Yes, that's correct. So first of all, we need to prepare the keg. So we've just washed the keg, it's all sanitised, it's ready to go. Beer's biggest enemy is oxygen. So what we need to do is try and get all the beer from that fermenter into this keg without having any contact, or as little contact with oxygen as possible.
But that thing's full of oxygen. No, it's full of CO2 at the moment, right?
Well, yes, it has got some CO2 in it, but what we want to do is just make sure that there is no oxygen in there.
So you want to get rid of all the oxygen that's in your tank, and you want to introduce as little oxygen as possible in the process. Why? Everybody seems to have this hang up about oxygen.
Oxidation causes the beer to turn stale quickly.
So no oxygen, that's the good idea. How are we going to do that?
So what we're going to do is we're going to purge this keg. So any oxygen that's still left inside this keg, we're going to push it all out with CO2. You have a product tube, which is from your out. It's a dip tube that goes to the bottom of the keg.
That's full of oxygen, so we have to go in through there, right?
Yeah, so what we want to do is we want to push CO2 all the way down through that tube and then push it all up so then the oxygen gets pushed out the top of the keg.
And my gas connector is not going to fit on that, so you're changing that over,
No,
right?
so we have to take off the gas one that we normally have on there, and we'll put on a beer one. And then we can turn our CO2 bottle on, and we can attach that onto the out, which is our beer.
There you go. That's going to fill it from the bottom with CO2, and that's obviously going to pressure all the oxygen to be at the top. I need to get that out now. You're going to open the lid again?
No, we're not going to open the lid, but we're going to let it out through this pressure relief valve. We'll leave that for sort of about 30 seconds to a minute. We'll open it and close it a few times just to make sure that all of the oxygen's pushed up out of there, and all the gas, which is heavier than air, sits at the bottom. And
So we need to get this really nice cold beer into that thing that's under pressure at the moment. This is obviously not under pressure. It's our standard plastic fermenter. How are we going to get that right?
so, because we don't have the plastic fermenter's not under pressure, what we need to do is relieve the pressure from this, but some CO2 will stay within it because it's heavier than air. It won't come out of the keg. It'll just stay in there.
And as the beer fills, it's going to push it up the top anyway.
Yeah,
that's a good
correct.
idea. But are we just going to open this little tap and put it in there?
Yes. Well, we need a hose, obviously, to go between the fermenter and the keg.
And the assumption would be that's been sanitized.
Yep. We've got one cylinder ready to go. So we let the pressure out of that keg completely.
Pressure is out. That's full of CO2 still.
We put it in place. Make sure that everything is nice and clean. So give the lid and the posts a good spray with our alcohol spray.
Your hands.
Hands.
Good.
And then we want to open the keg, but we only want to open enough just to get the hose in.
Right, so you're not going to open the whole lid. You're not going to take it out, put it out somewhere else again, just so that you can get the hose through, right?
So then we take our hose here, which has been sitting sanitizing in boiling water. Give that a good spray. Spray some alcohol through the hose, and then we put that down into the keg.
Do we fill from the bottom here? Is that the idea?
So make sure that the beer runs down the side of the keg, and then that runs down the side of the keg straight to the bottom, and then as it fills, it'll slowly push the CO2 out of the top of the keg.
Be my guest, friend.
So we want to make sure also that we have...
That's an important step, because otherwise it's going to suck in whatever is here at the top right into your beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get some air going through. Yeah.
We don't need to worry too much about the oxygen in here because we've got a CO2 blanket that's been produced during the fermentation. So we've got CO2 in here, we've got CO2 in here, and we're just going to transfer the beer.
Go for it.
So we just open the tap.
As simple as that. And we run all our beautiful beer into our keg. Your particular fermenter might still have some sediment here at the bottom. How do I make sure that I don't get any sediment into my keg?
Well, you want to keep an eye on it and make sure that from your clarification, everything should be down below the tap. If you've still got some hot matter and stuff like that coming through when you first turn it on, you might want to run that off into a jug or something like that, and then when the beer starts to get clearer, then you pop it into your keg.
I have 23 litres in here, but I only have a 19 litre keg. How's that going to work?
You can only fit 19 litres into the keg, so generally you want to make sure that you get the good piece in the middle, and then you want to stop it when you get to the sort of 19 level mark, because you want to make sure you've got enough headspace in the keg as well to carbonate the beer.
I've done it wrong, to be honest with you, confession. I filled it all the way to the top, and it's a big mess after that, especially when you want to try and you know, but that head at the top, does that mean that the beer is still fermenting?
No, that's just for carbonation, so it's to allow the CO2 to actually get inside the beer.
Right. So you're going to add some CO2 in for carbonation, and that needs a space to go somewhere.
Yes.